Everything's a vibe. Like, this is science. Everything's got its own frequency. We know that energy is neither created or destroyed, it's merely transferred or transformed. When we speak in energy. I don't even think people pay attention half the time in conversation when I say, I feel you, I feel you, I feel you.
You said I read your mind the other day, but baby, we are just connected deeply in another way. That telepathy connection, energy that's manifested through that melanin, electric currents traveling kinetic. What you thinking?
Call my mama.
But my mama calling me. Coincidence, no higher common sense. A calling ESP. We are magic. While this world's unraveling, 5G cannot limit our abilities from traveling. See, I'm on another level, dirty digging. Homie, get the shovel. I'm a rebel in this motherfucker, dancing with these demons. Got them screaming. This world is planting fear inside us. Clearly, I'm just over all the brainwashing. Time to wash your brain of all the pain, of all the stress, all the lies you told yourself. Open your eyes and realize you're a diamond in the rock. Don't let them tell you what you're not. It's time to show the world all this magic that we got with telepathy.
So hear me clearly. For me, language is liberation. The words that we have, they define and describe the very things that free our mind, but only when we choose with intention and pay attention to the frequency of the words that we use to construct our realities. Who do you say that you are? I am. I am. Those two words alone are the very beginning to a powerful sequence of awakening yourself to who and all that you are, have been, and will be. We talk in frequency.
Clouded visions, poison minds, can't see clear enough. The world full of interference, so God ain't hearing us. My spouse miles away, can't even take a walk in public. Coronavirus got us locked away like lab subjects. Close your eyes and you can feel the pain, we all connected. Empath, so I sense when every soul's ejected. A mystic, magical, way beyond simplistic. 5G blocking my chi, keeping our signals twisted. Communicate with my mind, mental telepathy. Into a nature, so we speak on different frequencies. My third, I watch, the other two never truly see. The world is an illusion shrouded in secrecy. A king by birthright, a god at first sight. Divine shine bright, blind the wicked at first light. Open your heart chakra and let these words shock you. We telepathic, use your magic like a witch doctor.
Kemetic or ancient Egyptian words of power that speaks to the soul. I command your soul to listen. Nukta chaz un mesura aritun ak em ta tema'u. Nukta chaz un mesura aritun ak em ta tema'u. Nukta chaz un mesura aritun ak em ta tema'u. The chaz un mesura aritun ak im ta tema'u.
All right, peace family. Welcome back to Self Meet Self Podcast. Episode 4. Yeah, episode 4 already?
Yeah,
Where I been at? Yeah, 4, okay. So we discussing healing in the community, building circles of support. It's your brother Knowledge One a lot, and I'm here with the heart behind this podcast. We would not be here, never would have made it if she wasn't here. You understand what I'm saying? So let's give it up for the one, the only Missionary Johnson in the building. How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling? Okay.
I am very good. How are you this evening?
It's Friday. You understand what I'm saying? Just got paid Friday night. Oh, man, I'm showing my age. I'm old. I ain't. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Just got paid Friday night. You know what I mean? Good to go. Good.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm glad that you're here again for episode 4 of the Self Meet Self podcast. I'm Chanel Johnson. I'm a family support provider, peer support specialist, and I walk alongside folks and families from their perspective, their lived experiences, and support them not from a medical role, but from a peer and a support standpoint.
All right, so I heard you say some $1 million words. Okay, you got some phraseology that some of these folks who are listening, who might just be tuning in for the first time, mean. So, what can you break them titles down? Like, what do they mean to people in real life?
Okay. I work for a mental health organization. We provide wraparound mental health services. So you're going to have your psychiatrist who, does the diagnosing, medication, things of that nature. You're going to have your QMHP, qualified mental health professional, or a clinician or therapist. They kind of can be interchanged. Then you're going to have your licensed social workers. They deal directly with the actual clients or the children, the ones that actually have the diagnosis. As a family support and peer support, I work with individuals or the families of individuals who are dealing with any type of recovery, whether that's addiction or mental health. So that looks like something's going on in the middle of the night. Your child is having a meltdown or just displaying some behaviors that you don't know what to do. I would get that phone call. And I would work with the parent on understanding the characteristics of the behaviors, where they might stem from, and work on them with interaction with the child. Or it may be someone having some addiction challenges. And I would either talk to the client or either the family member again to try to bring balance back and harmony into the actual household. I'm the person that you can call on when it's not clinical, when you don't feel like you need to go to the hospital and you kind of feel like you can contain it in home, or after there has been a hospitalization and you want to prepare for that person to come home or for some other support to be put in place. I can help navigate that process for you.
All right. So one thing I know about you for certain, you're gonna tell folks what you are and what you ain't. You understand what I'm saying? So can we make this thing crystal clear for the people that's listening? You know who you are and who you ain't.
Okay. Being transparent and crystal clear. I am not a licensed mental health professional. I am not a psychiatrist, psychologist. I'm not a qualified mental health professional. I am not a clinician. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a licensed social worker. That's not what I am. I am coming from the standpoint and the experience of someone with lived experience as a peer to your experience and a support for you. I'm here to provide resources, to provide education, to provide knowledge, and help you navigate these systems because it can get confusing. When you have someone that has a diagnosis and is actually getting services, it's a lot of moving pieces. What I named is a very small part of wraparound services. So you still can have a behavioral interventionist. There's so many other services that could be provided for you. I'm here to help the person that has to deal with all this as something new, actually navigate it. And sometimes things just come up and you just don't know what to do. If you have an IEP meeting, or if your child got suspended and you need to do a manifestation meeting, I would attend those with you as a support so that you feel confident, you feel supported, and you're not just taking us on alone. Because sometimes the systems that are there to help us are the systems that we actually are being challenged by and actually fight against us.
Whew. All right. So for some of us, I'm still bugging out on the fact that we're on episode 4 already. You know what I'm saying? Time flies when you're having fun. All right. So for the ones who might just be tuning in today for the first time, we got episode 1 through 3. Can you kind of give us a little recap on what folks missed out?
Well, for episode 1, it was just a general introduction of what the show is about. This show is for education purposes. And I'm not diagnosing. I'm not treating. I'm just speaking about experiences that may come up, helping us as a community start to identify some of the challenges that we have with ourselves first and also externally with everyone that we actually interact with, and to try to help us be more emotionally mature, emotionally intelligent, to try to be less reactive and be more proactive, to help us redefine ourselves based upon our terms and what is more beneficial to the whole, more so than our egos or what can happen in that moment, because we are paying the largest consequences for our actions. And although some of our actions may be understandable, it does not change the consequence. So, in order for us to build and rebuild as a community, we have to have communication and unity to even have community. So, my goal is to reintroduce mental health to our community. It has come a long way, it has changed, it is empowering now. And it is an issue that we have to stop ignoring. It can't just be, that's Aunt Kay. That's just how she is. Yeah, you know how, Uncle B, he have a couple of beers. You know how that go. No, 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 no. There's problems here. There's some things going on that we don't need to continue to pass on generationally. We have enough information, we have enough resources, we have enough accessibility to start to change the trajectory that we're going in, to where we can actually start being more self-sufficient. We can actually start coming out of survival and actually learning how to live. And that's very important, because we find a lot of pride in survival. We find a lot of pride in a lot of negative things that we need to understand is not healthy. And it's why we rank top in so many diseases that are attributed to being in a survival mindset. And episode 2, we talked about redefining strength, what that looks like, how culturally we look at strength, and what it is and what it should be, and what we should be leaning towards and what we should actually be pulling away from. And episode 3, we talked about relationships and interactions and how to navigate those different interactions with each other, and again with ourselves, because a lot of these conversations start with us first, and then we take that out, and then when someone says something to us, we hear what we said in our head, not what they said. So it's just about reframing our thought process. It is okay to change for the better. It is not being a simp to not curse somebody out, to put your hands on somebody, to take care of your family. It's not being, dominated, or submission is not bad. Like, there's just so many things that we have our own stigmas and our community that we have to take accountability. We do that to ourselves. There's nobody externally. Yes, external factors did play a part in it, but we have to do something about it. We can't keep talking about it. We have problem identified. Let's try to problem solve by just talking about it.
That is wonderful. Okay, that is wonderful. So we're on episode 4. So what are we delving into today?
Okay. We went from reintroducing mental health, and then we went to defining strength, and then we went to tools about strength. And now we're going to talk about building community, what that looks like, what has to happen. And you're going to hear in every single episode, it's going to always start with us. It's going to start with you first. It's going to start with me first. Now, everything has to start with your personal temple first. If that's not in order, you're going to try to push something out that's not natural, because it's not even who you are. There is truth in you have to become the change that you want to be. And everyone doesn't have to accept it, but you can't still be in a certain mind frame and go to the world and say, don't be that, when that's still who you are. Because the ones that are still like you are not going to listen. And if the goal is for us to better ourselves, we have to look at where we are, how we got here, and start making the necessary changes to get out of where we are, to get to the goal that we actually want to be at. And that's going to take community. It's going to take collaboration. It's going to take joint efforts, first for us to heal ourselves, then for us to heal each other, and segmented spaces, as women, as mothers, as men, as fathers, as brothers, as daughters, in relationships, as boyfriends and girlfriends and husbands and wives. There's so many layers to this, and we really don't have a lot of time to play, because the world is changing around us and we're still stuck in mud through the same issues.
So I'm gonna be a little nosy for a second, okay? We ain't got to get into any much specificity, but for you in your own healing journey, how did you go about building community, and how did community show up for you in those periods in your life on that path?
Okay. First, I'm still building community, and I'm not 100% there. I am not here
Oh,
at standing on a pedestal saying I got it. Here's the way. I'm saying I'm in it with you, and we're gonna throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Now, what I will say is that I've
mm,
made some major changes.
mhm,
I have learned to worry about myself.
mm,
Um, One of my girlfriends is saying she's minding her business and worrying about herself. And that's what we're doing, minding our business, meaning we are organizing our lives. We're handling our business first before we help somebody else with theirs. We are making sure that we are reaching our goals. We're making sure that we stay in our realm of possibility and capability and in reality, and not worried about somebody else's, because we're helpers by nature. We're just helpers, and we will help the world, and we will stop what we're doing to
right,
help others. And now we've shifted that to, nah, we're not doing that. No, I can't do that for you. Like, no
right.
has become like the key
Yes,
word.
yes.
It's the phrase no. And it's more of, I had to learn that I can't pour from my cup into yours.
Right.
That's not yours. That cup is mine. I can only give you from the overflow. So if I don't have the overflow, I have to be totally full to help you. And I don't feel selfish in that anymore. There was a time when I would feel selfish in that. I don't feel
Mm,
selfish in that because I have a goal that's greater than your need in this moment. I have a goal to reach our community en masse. So I don't have time to worry about your immediate emotion of what you feel that you need, that you can actually handle. You can Google like I can Google. You can take
right.
the same steps that I'm going to take to find that out for you, or to help you, or do something for you. So for me, that's for you to figure out. I have found that I have enabled a lot of things. I
Mm,
have been a crutch for a lot of things, because it was easier for me to just do it than to have to sit there and hear you constantly asking, I'll just do it. No, I'm not doing it anymore. No,
right,
you're going to have to figure that out. I would
right.
prefer for you to ask me how to do it. And I would be glad to tell you how to do it, because in telling you how to do it, then now you can go fish for yourself. But my community right now is starting with me. With I'm on this island, and I need to make sure that I have my program, my systems, my goals, everything that I'm doing in order and on trajectory before I can allow anybody on this island. And then I can start to build. But I am still reaching out. I do leave my island and I go to everyone else, and I show up and I do my volunteer work, and I give my time in the capacities that are comfortable for me, to where I don't wear myself out. And even in those arenas, I will say no. I
Mm,
volunteer for 4 organizations, very heavy ones, each of them. But I have a right to say that I don't want to do something if I just don't have enough in me to do so. So my community right now is me. It's my island, the island of me, myself and I. And I am meeting myself, and I enjoy my company, and I enjoy who I met. I enjoy who I'm becoming, and I am very excited about the things that I want to do in the future. So, I do have community. I have people in my life, but even with them, I'm pulling back because I have to focus on me. So I will still engage, I will still interact, but I have laser vision right now to meet the goals that I have. And that means that I can't be there and show up for you like I used to. I can, I'm not going to. Let me correct myself. I can, I ain't going to, because I don't want to be exhausted doing what I do. I want to continue to enjoy the things that I do, because I do enjoy them right now. If I
mhm,
keep adding on other people's things, it becomes labor, and I don't like labor. So right now, my community again is me. It's the things, it's my projects, it's my babies. I have a book I'm writing. I have one book I wrote. I have projects. I have this podcast. I have, other missions that I'm a part of. And I just don't have time to take on anybody else's wants or needs right now, because we're all adults and we can figure it out.
Sometimes the applause just don't do it, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you gotta drop a bomb, okay? You gotta drop a bomb. So for the listening audience that are listening in right now, what's one of the takeaways? What do you want them to take away from episode 4 of Self Me Self podcast, healing in the community, and rebuilding circles of support?
Um, again, still finding that space for you. Like, we do need to be in community. We do need to be in collaboration. Make sure that when we do that and we build that community and collaboration, that there is a common goal. Let's not just go blind, because that's how things go rogue. Let's work together, and everything's not going to be for everybody. Find your lane, find your space, find your tribe within that community, and take on some action. Take on, I want to be the one I want to put phonics back in schools. Well, if we can't do it, go in and talk to the teachers to see if you can bring it in. Show up to the parent teacher conference. If you know that, your sister, she worked night shifts. She's tired in the daytime. She can't make the meetings. She got to go to work. Okay, fine. You go. Showing up, it can be really simple. It doesn't mean that you have to go in and do everything for everybody, but find something and be a part of it, because if you make everything all about yourself, then that's the only person that's going to be affected. We need each other. We need community. We need interaction. COVID and social media has made us so withdrawn that we will literally see somebody in pain and hurting, and we will record that before we will ever give any type of compassion or any touch to try to stop it or even console that person. We will laugh at their pain and humiliate them before we will ever try to heal that situation. We no longer have teaching moments. When I grew up, if two people were fighting, there's an elder that was going to come in and break that fight up and chew each one out. What you doing this for? Now you know better than this. You know your mama raised you better than this. We don't hear that anymore. Your daddy would not be happy that you're doing this. He going to be disappointed. We don't have that anymore. Even the seniors and the adults and the elders have their cameras out ready to humiliate you for some likes that, one, is not making you money. It's not making you popular in your reality. And we don't have wisdom anymore. Social media has taken wisdom away. And who do we have to look up to? It's like everybody's trying to be somebody that they're not. And we got to come out of that. We don't have an identity. Our identity is what our profile name is, whatever we decide to make that. It's the life that we put online that when we log off, we know none of it's reality. Now we're depressed because I didn't show you this grandiose thing that I have online, but that's not the reality when I log off. When I log off, I'm in my grandma's basement with no job and no human interaction outside of her and her aides that come in. So, when it comes to community, that's why I say the self has to come into play first. We got to understand where we are, where we want to go, and then from there we can break down how we're going to get there. Because right now we're in shambles, and I would love to see more of us. Hey brother, hey sister. That was respect. That's not, oh my nigga, oh this bitch. That's not, in your intimate spaces, it is what it is. But on an everyday basis, we're very comfortable with disrespect. We're very comfortable where we will chill, have a murderer in the family, a rapist, and he can come to the cookout. It's not a problem. She can beat the hell out of her kids, and, CPS can come in, take the kids, put them back, and people in and out, and we're just okay with that. We don't have anyone that anybody respects enough anymore to come in and say, hey, you're not living right. We got to make some changes in here. And with social media, I can always go online and find some people that agree with what I'm doing. The community has become the internet, and that's not a safe place for us. It's not a safe space, not a safe place. It's very dangerous, and it's very delusional. And I would even go as far as to say I think that a lot of diagnoses that are going on are because of the delusion of the false reality that is portrayed, and also the interaction, the 3-second swipes, the repetition of actually swiping, the blue light, the flashing, the advertisements, the psychology of the advertisements. We're just being pulled so many different ways. Ask the average person when the last time they went to the library and opened a book. When the last time you went to Barnes and Noble? So for me, I want people to walk away with tools to be able to work on themselves, to be able to identify themselves outside of everything else. Who are you at your core? Who are you? Not your name, not what you do, but who are you? How do you identify? Not by gender, we, they, them. No. How do you identify and how do you show up in this world today? What is your mission? What is your personal mission statement? Do you have one? What are your goals? We want to do a lot of things, and we ask, well, what you doing about how you going to get there? I don't know. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but what's the roadmap? What can I do? Go see what millionaires do. So I want to open our minds and just kind of plant some seeds of we can make these changes. We can do the things we want to do. But we have to get ourselves together, and then we got to come together. And when we come together, it can't be with hierarchy. It has to be with critical thinking, meaning inclusion, collaboration, community. It has to be with a common goal so that we can move. We're stuck in mud because it's all about us, and it's all about the image and the likes, and that's not elevating anyone.
Whew. Okay. And so we hear this concept, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts on we can't heal alone. Why is that possible?
We, in the best times in the Black community, it came from community. Every place that we built from scratch with absolutely nothing but dirt on the ground, it was done with community. A group of Black people got together and they started something, and they brought it to other groups of Black people, and it grew. And it grew to the point to where it was built. Okay, I'll say it like this. I'm going to say it in two ways. Healthy way and an unhealthy way. In a healthy manner, if you look at any major corporation, it can be Turner Construction, Kellogg, Bayer, Pfizer, that company is one name, but there are numerous subsidiaries and branches and people that build that brand, that make that possible. Yes, there's going to be levels, but everybody's input is necessary, down to the janitor that cleans the buildings. If you hustle and you got a kilo of Coke, well, I tell you what, you're going to make your money if you flip the whole key. But if you break it down, you're going to make more money. And then you're going to have people that can kind of put a little bit of separation between you and your product. So now if you hire people and you break that down, you're going to make more money, and you have people that kind of take the risk away from you a little bit, because now they're going to do the hand-to-hand transaction. You're just going to supply them. So the less people that you actually have to come in contact with, the less probability you have of actually getting arrested. Not that it can't happen, but you got a better chance. And they got some separation, and it builds more security because it's a process of duplication. I can only do what I can do with my hands. But if I duplicate myself, now I can do that continually. So now with that key of Coke, I can break that down. And I have 20 people working for me that are bringing in by the week what I will probably make in a month, because of the ability to make more money within a shorter period of time to go back and get more. So when it comes to understanding when we need to grow, we need to do that as a collective, because we need all hands on deck. So when it comes to healing, we all suffer. We got this big gender war going on, men and women, Black men and Black women, to be specific. And we are both victims of the same circumstance. We have gone through the same systems, and we have suffered consequences. May not exactly have been the same, but the detriment to the community as a whole, the impact is the same. So we need to understand that that interaction needs to be preserved. It is being manipulated right now. It is being bastardized to the point to where we don't like each other. We don't respect each other. We don't trust each other anymore. And that's by design. If I want to conquer something, I have to divide it. And now we're divided. And now we can't get back together because we need families. We need interaction. We need respect. We need protection on both ends. So, with the thought process of community, we have to come together peacefully with open-mindedness and inclusion of ideologies that we may not agree with. All that got to be pushed to the side for now, because the bigger issue is us. The identities, the genders, the sexual orientations, all have to, that we got to get with the core first, and then that's separate. We can't let that get in the way. We can't let any of that foreshadow what we need to do as a whole. Our identities as Black Americans has to be preserved, and it has to start with our interactions.
So now we're talking about the Black American family. Let's break it down. What is it with the men? What is it with the women? What is it with the children?
Here's the thing. It's what works for you. One, whatever environment is going to allow you to create a healthy environment for the family, because we're in a new age. We grew up with grandpa that had multiple families. That was a reality. And now there's people that are participating in those types of situations. So there has to be a lot of communication and a lot of honesty. Not honesty out of being caught. Not communication when it's brought to you. It needs to be from the gate. If that's what you're looking for, and you have because here's the thing, when you deal with in a situation where there's more than one person, whatever you want to call it, there has to be a lot of communication up front and expectations and goals. Why are we doing this? It's not just because you just want what you want. And I'm not going to put all this on men, because it's women too. It's there. When you bring children into this, how are you going to explain this to the children? One, they got to go to school. And when they go to school, the traditional family setting that they're used to is not going to be there. And it's going to cause confusion. So you have to have a plan with the people that you're having children with. And you need to raise them within that. So I'm not going to say I'm for or against it. I'm just going to say make sure that you can build healthy human beings out of that. And the person that is the lead in that situation needs to be a responsible person, not dominant. That does not mean anything. Alpha, none of that. That has no place here. It has to be responsible, and you have to be a leader, because and not a teacher. As a leader, you are responsible for those that you lead. That comes with a heavy responsibility, and a lot of people are not as successful as they think that they are at that. When it comes to the Black family, we don't have households nowadays where everybody can make enough to where mom can stay home. It's not our reality. So two people have to work. The best situation would be to work opposite shifts, so that way your children are always with a parent. But that's two people that plan to have children and plan to make sure that that was a thing. Now, we have situations where people have children and are not together. We say it shouldn't happen. You should choose better. That's great, but the kids are here. Now what? So what do we do with what we have here? Like, do we just throw them away? No, we got to find better solutions. Now, yes, you should make a better decision the next time. And if that doesn't happen again, but the kids are here. So again, that's where that community comes in. Me and my best friend, when we had our kids, we would watch each other's kids. The value of watching a child, because it costs the child care, if you can exchange that service with someone else, is almost like having another job. So if I work overnights and you work days, and I take your kids to school when I get off, because I get off overnight, I take your kid to school with my kids, and then you watch my kids go to sleep at your house because it's nighttime. I bathe them, I feed them, they go to sleep, and I wake up, and like, that's a system. If we're gonna be, and I'm gonna say it, irresponsible enough to create broken homes, it's up to us to find the solutions. We have to find the solutions that are going to work. And the thing is, when you have that friend that's willing to do that, don't run off on her when it's your turn. Don't make her late for work. Don't have her kid going to school looking crazy. Respect that. Give the same respect that she gave you when she provided that service to you. Because if the thought process is on the child, then everybody's what's going to do what's in the best interest of the child. We have this throwaway mentality with these children today, where it's like, oh, daddy ain't there, mommy, whatever. Nobody wants to step in. When I grew up, everybody was in. Your neighbor was in, your aunties, your uncles, and a lot of times we was home alone. But there were still other children. There were other people. It was community, even though we didn't like it, but it was. And it's hard because sometimes you don't trust people to be around your children. So, that's the difficult part, is who do I leave my kids with? I might leave my kids with this person overnight, but I don't know who she's gonna have in our house overnight. So, but again, moving forward, these are things that we've got to think of beforehand before we start making children. Because there's ways to prevent children. You can still have all your activities without making a child. And I'm not faulting anybody that has done that, because I've done that myself. But you have to make the best of the situation. And the more you know, the more you're responsible to do better. So as far as family is concerned, I think that family is a new definition, because we just don't have dad coming home at 5:00, taking off her shoes at the door, reading the newspaper at the table while grandma was at the kitchen, making dinner, and we're at the table doing homework, or mom, it's just not, that situation is not us. As far as marriage is concerned, the religious conviction behind the consequences of not honoring your marriage are not there like they used to be. And honestly, when it was, it's still the same things were happening. They just didn't leave the marriage. So it's for me, it's more of when you find your companion, and if you have children, but if you have children and before you have children, when you get with someone, make sure that you're with someone that you would want your son to be like. And as an adult, that's the image of the person that you would want your daughter to be with. Because if not, then we are creating horrible situations and continuing generational curses that's going to continue to keep us in the rut that we're in. If I get with a man and I do not want my son to grow up to be that demonstration of manhood, I have no reason being with that man. If I have a man and this is not the model of a man that I feel like my daughter deserves to be with, why am I with that man? And there's a lot of layers that goes into why you would choose that. The same thing with the man. If I don't want my daughter growing up to be like this woman, like this is her demonstration of womanhood, why am I procreating with this person? And this is a horrible woman, and I would never want my daughter to be like her. Then I impregnate her, and I think the birth control was abortion. Well, it doesn't always work out that way, and it is her choice. But now you have this child, but you didn't want the child, but you didn't prevent the child. She didn't either. Two parties. And then if you're a man, sometimes you got to think about, you want your son to be like you. Think about all the things that you did in your life and the things that you're still doing. Do you want your son to have those same experiences? So you as a father need to change who you are to be a better representation of manhood for your son. You as a mother need to change who you are to be a better representation of womanhood. So again, the family still goes back to self, because you got a bunch of people that are lost and broken, that are just looking for love, that feel like that will come through a child. No matter what, this child's going to love me, but you don't have the capacity to raise this child. You don't have the funds. You can't pay for daycare, so you're struggling. You don't have the education that you need. You can't go back to school because you don't have the education, because you can't afford it. These children grow up, they need things. Children need to be in activities. Activities are very expensive. I am here to testify they are expensive. I'm talking about thousands of dollars, lots of time. And then they have to go to school. Everybody's not going, financially, it doesn't cover everything. If you want to get them the experience of living on campus, okay, that's going to cost you more than your rent. It's going to cost you just the same. If you want to put them in good schools, that's going to cost you college tuition. There's things that you need to plan for. You don't have a home, so you're renting. You can always be put out. If something happens and somebody buys the house that you're renting, now your children have to go to a different school district. The rents have gone up since when you first moved in. Now you can't afford to stay in the area that you're in. So now you got to go to a different district. That district doesn't have the resources that your district had. Now your children's in a different environment. Your children are not used to that environment. Now they're in culture shock. There's so many things that you need to think of. Stability needs to be the foundation before children. Children need to be a discussed option. I did not discuss those options. I had children. I did that wrong. I did that totally out of line to where I could have been the most healthy version of a mother, not doing it by myself had I did it correctly and chose to have children instead of just having children. So there's a lot of honesty, there's a lot of self-accountability, and there's a lot of, we have to, as the elders, come back and tell the youth, don't do what we did. That one, it's not a flex. It's not the flex that you think it is to be independent, to be a single mother, to say that you did it on your own. None of that is cute when it comes to the child. It's great for your self-esteem because you don't want to have accountability, but there's nothing cool or cute about any of that.
I just dropped the bomb early, okay? Pardon me. The bomb slid in there, finger slipped, and the bomb was like, boom. Okay. Need to blow it up right now. Yeah. Happy New Year for the folks who say New Year's now, okay? You know what I'm saying? We're in the weekend of the spring equinox and all that. You understand what I'm saying? So happy, joy, okay? Happy, joy. All right. So if we were to take a little pause right now, what questions do you want the folks at home that are listening and the folks who will listen to this archive to sit with in this particular moment?
I would say we were raised with survival again, and we've always made a way. You know, we've always made a way. I don't care what it is, we're gonna figure it out. And you know, don't let people see you sweat, and don't make people see that you're weak. Don't show your weaknesses. And don't be embarrassed in the family. And, you know, it's always about what somebody else thinks. And it's like, what is the value of that person's perception of me? I am living my lived experience. What is the value of that perception? Who are we impressing? And why are we doing so many negative things to impress someone else? Like, we will irresponsibly buy something that we know we can't afford, and to say that we have more than a person across the street, and that person will come back and try to one up, and it's like, stop. We got to stop. That grind culture that we have, we need to grind with purpose. You know, we need to be in real estate. We need to be in arenas where we can make sure that if something happens, that we can live. We need to make sure that we can eat, we can grow our food. You know, the farming situation has gotten really bad in this country. I don't know how to hunt food. I don't even know how to grow it. I'm being honest with you. And I will fully support anyone that does. But who are those people? We need to identify that. What are your skill sets? When we start talking about community, what can we do? What can you do? I know what I can do, you know, but let's find out what we have so we can find out what to do with it. And that, you know, we still have that culture. We got to work hard. We came here into this country working harder than anybody, and with no appreciation, no gratitude, no nothing. We got beat for that. We got beat for working hard. There was no payout. And we've adapted that culture and that ideology, and we now traditionally pass that on to our children and our families. Work hard. Work hard. The harder you work, if you want anything, you got to work twice as hard as the next person. And you better not complain because don't nobody owe you nothing. And if we don't, we failed. If I didn't work hard enough, if something didn't happen for me, it's because I failed, not because of anything else. And we got to come out of that mentality. And for Black men, that would be like, you're the problem solver, you're the protector, you're the head of the family. Everybody comes to you, you're supposed to figure it out. Nobody's going to help you figure it out. Nobody's going to give you the resources. Nobody's even going to help you. Here, this is yours, figure it out. And you're the only one. When something breaks, your job is to fix it. Doesn't matter if your money's short, if your car broke down, if somebody's in trouble, you are the one that shows up. Where do you take your deep breath as a Black man? You don't have a space for that. And because the world already stereotypes you as aggressive or weak if you show emotion, then you learn to just suppress that. You don't let that come to the surface. And then now you got high blood pressure. Your chest is, your chest is getting tight, starting to get that shooting pain up your left arm. And what do you say? I'm good. It's just what I got to do. That's not healthy for us. That's not helping us at all. We have to be mindful of what we place on people. We have to understand that just because I say I'm okay doesn't, it just means I'm not telling you everything that's going on. And we do have to think about what we can do for ourselves. Let's just stop putting everything on other people. For Black women, we got to be the strong Black woman, which is so insane because we're supposed to be submissive and strong at the same time. And they can go together, but no one really tells you where to put those, how to actually organize those in the correct drawers. And you're supposed to be the peacemaker, the organizer. You're supposed to be the psychiatrist because everybody comes and vents to you. You're the one that just got it. You always got it. You always got it so together. Oh, you're so strong. You always keep it together. Yeah, doesn't mean I like any part of this. And you're carrying the emotional load of the entire family, the church, the group chat, the lovely family group chats. You're the go-to person. And people get used to you being that person. So when you're tired, you don't always feel like you got room for that because somebody's always telling you how strong you are. And then they guilt you into not wanting to take on their baggage. So we need to understand that in these spaces, yes, we feel like we need help. But how much are you helping yourself? Are you doing everything that you can for you that when you come to me, I am your last resort? You would have to call the police before you got to call me. Are you at that point? Because if you're not doing enough for yourself. And if you don't show up for yourself, you cannot show up for the community.
The bombs is dropping tonight. Okay. The bombs are dropping tonight. So when I hear you speak sometimes, because I'll be listening intently. You understand what I'm saying? All right? Yeah. I heard the little bit of gangster slip out a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? Don't let it fool you. Okay. The gangster slipped out just teens. Okay? Just teens. All right. So we're building community. You said you're in the process of building community. So how do you make this distinction between the community that drains you versus the one that restores you? That one that work your nerves and you think you over there, you getting built up and you got some trauma bond situation going on versus authentic and environment where it look good, it feel good, it is good.
Okay. We're going to go back to those honest conversations with yourself. And, we've always healed together. Barbershops are a thing. Kitchen tables are a thing. Front porches are a thing. When we go through something, we'll go, we're going to vent to our hairdresser. Like, that's our community. Those are the people that show up for you without judgment. And sometimes we'll just let you just vent without even giving you any feedback. The ones where if your crown is tilted, they can fix it without you getting offended. They can tell you, you need to take a look at this because you're not making good decisions right now. Or you're messing up. Like, cut it out. You need to do better without you getting offended. That's your community. And the way that you have to look at it is think about everyone that's in your community. And I would even challenge you to write it down. Write down everybody that's in your circle. And then you go through and really ask yourself what value that person brings to you. And what type of reciprocity do they bring? And I'm not talking about financial. I'm talking about emotional and spiritual. If I'm going through something, I can call Nakia Tillman, my best friend. And I don't care what it is. She is going to hear me. She's going to listen And she's going to give me feedback based upon what I need. Now, she knows me well enough to know when I need to just vent and when I want a response. That's a deep connection that I have with her, to where she's my conscience. Like, if I'm going to go off the ledge, she is the only person, she's the bat signal that's going to be able to bring me back. She has helped me make major life decisions. That's a strong part of my community. Like, that is my go-to for everything. We talk several times a week, faithfully. And if we're not talking, we are texting or memeing each other. That's just how we are. No matter what we go through, put it like this. We have been best friends since second grade and we've never had an argument. Not one. So that tells a lot about our communication and our honesty. We can have those conversations with each other and we don't get mad because we know unequivocally that we are coming from a place of love. And I'm not saying that there's a lot of correction that has to happen, but when we go through things, we go through real things. And from second grade to now to 50 is a long way. It's a long stretch of life. So there's a lot of things that we've gone through throughout that time. So, you know, what that looks like for you is, what does that person bring you? If you have someone where, you know, you're just going through it, and at any time they can kind of pick that up a little bit and they're just going to make you bust out laughing and just release all that. That is value. That is an important person that does not need to even get into the details, but they just know how to make you feel better. If there's someone that, you know, spur of the moment, they'll pick your kid up from school. That's a beautiful asset to have. It may not seem like a lot, you know, and even if you give them gas money, it doesn't matter. The fact that they're willing to do that for you, like, who brings something to you? And it's not a measure of who brings more. It's who just brings something. You're going to have people that will take and take and take, and they're going to want to be a part of your life. They're going to want to be a part of the activities that you do without bringing anything for that, even for themselves. Those are not people that you want around you. Those are opportunists. Those are people that are going to show up to have access to who you are or what you have. Those are not that's not your community. Those are leeches. Those are vultures. You want people around you that truly, if I don't call you for 6 months, when I call you on that 6 month and one day, oh, now you want to call me? Nah, that's not that. That person's like, you know what? Life been life, and what's up? Catch me up. What's been going on in life? Because there's just that love there. And you want the people that call you and say, how are you doing? For no reason. I just want to check on you. I want to make sure you're good. Mental health check. Not the person that be like, what you doing? But what you got going on this day? Oh, well, I need you to try to fit and weave their need into what you want to do. Or the person that calls you and tells you what you gonna do because they want to be a part of that. Or the person that keeps bringing things up because they want to do like the Dr. Umar say it 3 times situation where it sticks in your head. And those are not people, and especially if you call them, they don't answer. You call them, they have nothing for you. You can't go to them. You don't trust them. If you have a person that you say, I can't tell them they can't hold water, why they in your life? Because there's going to be times in your life when you're going to need them to hold water, because you're going to want to share something intimate, something very sacred to you that may be painful or hurtful, that you just need a little guidance on. You just need an ear for. If you can't trust that person, why do you have people in your life that you can't trust? And then you also have to be that for that person. You got to make sure that you can hold the water. You got to make sure that you respect them. Even in conversation, stop over talking each other. Get yourself a pen and paper and write down your thoughts if you just can't contain them so much to where you can't let somebody finish their thought. You hear one thing and you go off into a tangent and you grab that one thing and you didn't even let them finish what they were saying. We got to learn how to have dialogue. That's so disrespectful. That literally means that you don't respect that person, their thought, or how they feel, because you would not even give them the courtesy and respect to let them finish that thought. That's your community. Your community is the one that's there to grow with you, grow as themselves, and support you when you're growing. If I say, I got a promotion today, and you say, Oh, you always bragging. You need to be humble. That's not brag. Your your community should celebrate you. It should sell no matter what you're going through in that moment, what you have or you don't have, because someone that you love in your community got to win. You should feel like you got to win and celebrate that win with that person. It should not be, oh, they always bragging. They always talking about what they got. That's an accomplishment. I worked hard to get that promotion. You should be happy for me. And if that person if you go to somebody and you say, I got this idea. You can't do that. Wait. Hold on. What do you mean I can't do that? Oh, that's not going to work. Oh, no, that's not. Okay. What's your plan? How do you plan on starting this? Where we're going to start? All right. So what do we need to do to get this going? What do you need? You need resources. Like, where do you want to start? Who do you need to call? Let's map this out. Let's write out what needs to be done. That's the person that you need to keep in your community, not the person that gets an attitude, that gets standoffish, that gets snappy because you're saying something great that you want to do. And you also have to be careful of those that kind of want what you have and you don't think you have anything. It could literally be your smile. It could be the fact that you walk around happy every day and you don't let the world drag you down. There will be somebody that is in your circle that you love dearly to life that will see that and cannot find that within themselves and will find vitriol for you because they cannot seek that within themselves. And you have to be able to see that so that you can put some separation between you and that person so that you can continue to shine so that your light don't get dim, because that's not the person that you want to put down for your reference for your job. You think that this person is going to be happy for you. They're going to call that person and they're not going to give you the reference that you think you're going to get. It should be as if in a relationship. If I'm with a man, whether I am physically with him or not, when I step outside, I represent him and he represents me. And as community, we should be doing the same for each other. No matter whether we are in the same space or not, we should be able to know that when you're not around me, you still represent me and you're going to speak of me in the correct light and you're going to move with me and support me in the correct lights. And that's going to be reciprocated back to you. It's not going to be the person that just always needs, never has the ability to have, but never has. And then guilt you into not allowing them to have because you have access. You don't get to have my access if you don't do my work. So your community is going to be hand-picked. You have to cherry pick your community. You have to make sure, because here's the thing, water seeks its own level. And if you are with a bunch of low energy people and that's all you have around you, just everybody, you're just everything for everybody. How are you going to elevate from that? You won't be able to do that. You're going to be constantly weighed down. But if you're around a bunch of supporters, you will find yourself constantly elevating and going to new heights and having new experiences, opportunities, and manifesting every one of your desires because you're around people that are constantly speaking life into you and bringing that life-feeding energy.
Yes, ma'am. So we heard you talk about what it is versus what it's not, how you feeling coming out of those experiences. So now, this healing circle word that you were talking about, how do you go about that? And if somebody is new to that, how would you guide them through that?
Well, a lot of us are new to that. A lot of us are new to community because we have had to do a lot on our own. But sometimes we don't see the extended community that we have. It could be a teacher. It could be a supervisor at work that just understands that you're going to be 5 minutes late every day because you got to get your kid on the bus. It's community does not mean someone that is there for you for every single thing in every capacity of your life. You have to understand that there's going to be hands everywhere in your life. It may be that landlord that lets you pay the rent late this month but didn't report it so it don't mess up your credit because you start a new job and your check didn't fall on a proper week. It's just understanding. It's understanding, it's compassion, it's open-mindedness, and it is critical thinking. Because sometimes we talk about tools, and tools may be another person. It's that daycare provider that says you can bring them 30 minutes early. I know you got to be to work at 7. We don't open till 7, so I'm gonna take your kid at 6:30. It's gonna cost you, but it should, because I'm accommodating you. So when it comes to healing, we have to appreciate those little things too. We have a tendency to only appreciate grand things. We have to appreciate those little wins, those little pockets when we thought everything was going to go haywire, and it didn't, and it worked out. It works out, and we just keep moving. We never stop at that moment and be like, you know what? Whatever your source is, whatever universe, God, Allah, whatever, thank you. You saw me through this, and I truly appreciate that. And then you take that knowledge and you turn it into wisdom, because now you make sure that you evaluate that situation and it doesn't happen again. And that's how you pay back. And it's not just paying each other back. We got to pay back our source. Pay them back by doing better. Even if we're having interaction within our community, we have a disagreement. Born, I didn't like how you said that. Well, forgiveness is a payback. And the best apology is change behavior. You know what? I'm sorry. I won't say that again. My mind was somewhere else. I wasn't paying attention. And we have to allow ourselves those graces, because I might need you to give me that grace too, because I might be having the same day you had. And I might say something to you that might, and I need you to tell me that so that I can correct that. Because if you don't tell me, I can't correct it. But I also need to give you the space to be able to do that, so that you don't feel like, oh, I really should tell her, but I don't really want to. I don't want to get mad at me. We got to stop that. No, we need to be able to do that, because iron sharpens iron. And if we're both going towards the same thing, it's important that in the roles that we're in, presenting to the public, that we show how to handle conflict in a healthy manner where everybody walks away fine. So that community, can look like many things, but appreciate the small ones. Appreciate that person in Walmart that stood behind you and paid for you, gave you the extra $5 you were short to get your kids Tylenol. Appreciate the grandmother that watched that kid for you, even though she told you no every other weekend. Appreciate that, because you knew those other weekends you just wanted to go out. You weren't going to work. We have to stop thinking that anybody owes us anything, but we do owe each other community. Nobody has to do anything for us, but when they do, appreciate it. 1, 2, make sure you show up for yourself and you show up for them too. Make sure that when God gives you something, that thank you is with change. That thank you is with a change habit, a change thought process, a change financial position. Otherwise, we wonder why we keep going through the same thing. We think that God's forsaken us. Oh, the universe just crashed out. Oh, it's Mercury retrograde. No, you made bad choices. You're not making the best choices. You don't want to do what's necessary to change your situation. And the universe will humble you in that way. So in healing alone, it's accepting what is around you that does help you, that does nurture you, that does feed into you mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We are together, but we have to fix ourselves first. Show up whole. If you show up whole, I promise you, you will see a change in what you receive. The universe is a vacuum, and what you put into it, you get out of it. So if you are consistently not where you want to be, not doing the things you want to do some self-evaluation to see what you could do different. What do you need to do to change that? And if you take those steps towards doing that with no excuse, one thing bad happens. Nope, see, I told you. No, that's not how that works. Just keep going. Not with a survival mindset, but with the I deserve, I am worthy, I'm willing to put the work in so that I can. I statements. Because I am worthy. And your community will show up for you, because you're going to draw that. You attract what you are. You keep tracking a certain type of man, something in you is saying that that's what you need right now. You attracting a certain type of woman, something in you is saying that's what you need right now. Find out what's in you that's bringing that, and change that. Change your environment, change your circle, change your community. Draw more towards a community that feeds more life into you. Draw more towards a community that lives the way that you want to live. But without taking, go to learn. Go to give. I believe that my life is as balanced as it is. And why I've been able to go through so many trials is because I give a lot. I give time, I give money, I give resources, I give circumstances, I give a lot. I know my value when I come to you as a person. If I'm in your life, I know that I'm an asset. But I also have assets in my circle. So with that community, you have to be a little bit into yourself. I deserve that. I deserve to have good friends. I deserve to have people that I can call that are going to celebrate with me. I deserve to be able to go places with people that I'm in alignment with, and we go do the things that we like, and we can do that in peace. I deserve to have people that know not to call me after a certain time because they know I'm sleeping. They don't ask me for things because they know that I have a busy schedule. They don't try to fit their stuff into my stuff. I deserve to have that. And if you won't give it to me, I'll take it for myself. So your community it's an extension of who you are, but also an acceptance of what you're willing to bring in, as long as it's healthy and as long as what you're putting out is healthy.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You mentioned something earlier with you and Nakia, and you said she knows you well enough to distinguish when she just wants you just want her to listen versus wanting her to get involved. So how do you turn up them calibrations? Because the tool belt come out. You understand what I'm saying? This is the sword, the shield, what they call it, the fire suit. So you ready? You like shh. So how
Well,
you distinguish between the two?
here's the thing. We grew up together. So she knows my levels. She knows by my tone where I'm at. She knows by what I'm saying and how I'm saying it where I'm at. And also we will say, you got this situation. Tell me how to show up for you. Do you want me to just listen? Do you want me not to say anything? Do you want me not to even bring it up again? Do you want to leave this here and are we going to bury this as a dirt bag for this? We have those honest conversations where we can say, tell me how to show up for you right now. But the thing is, we mean it though. So if I say to her, I don't want you to, I just want you to listen. I'm not going to call her 3 days later and was like, when I was going through that, why you didn't say anything? No, I meant what I said because I know what I need. I know what I want in that moment. And I'm not afraid to ask for what I want. And we have to stop being afraid for asking what we want out of fear of what somebody else thinks. You're close to me. You're my sister. So if I tell you I do want your feedback and I want you to be very honest with me, she's going to give it to me. But I'm not going to come back to her and say, why'd you say that? Or even if she gives me something, if she gives feedback and I didn't want feedback, I know it's coming from a place of love. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to feel salty about it. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to go think about it. And I'm going to filter through that. And I'm going to find where I need to course correct in that. Because I know that I'm not perfect. And she knows me. And because she knows me, there's something that she sees that I'm not seeing that I'm doing. And I might come back to her and say, you know what, I thought about what you said. Or I might not. More than likely I will. I thought about what you said. This is what I came up with. And then we'll have a dialogue. Like that level of open communication is what is needed for us to heal as people. Because, and it's not that, please don't think she calls me all the time, just correcting me. That's not how that works. That's not what that is. It's just when we go through things and emotion is before intelligence, we will not be in our right processing and we will make decisions that are not the greatest. And if someone loves you and they're in your life, they're telling you that so that you don't make that mistake and to bring you back into your intelligence and out of that emotion, or to separate it so that you can see what's going on. This is where you went wrong. Now, we do not correct each other in public. We will correct each other behind doors. I am team her all day in public. When we get behind the door, we will say what needs to be said to each other. We're not about embarrassing each other. You're never going to see us on social media exchanging war stories. We're not doing that. We don't do that. That's not how our friendship is built. If me and her were to never talk again, you won't know it. Me and her will know, the world will not know. And that's the level of honor and integrity, morals, ethics, and values that we need to have within our community. We need to have that level of trust with each other, to where even if we outgrow each other and our seasons end, we can release each other with love. She's stuck with me. That's not an option, but that's just an example.
So for the people who are listening now and who are listening to the future in these archives, who are not blessed by Almighty God to have a Nakia in their life, what they supposed to
do? First thing you need to do is
get
really
you a
sit
Nakia
down
in your life.
Very quietly and ask yourself, am I the person that I want to be in my life? Do I show up as that person for other people? Am I even honest enough with myself to say that I can do that for myself? Because it doesn't make any sense for you to have that expectation of someone if you can't be that, if you can't give that. If you can't say that, you know what, I am somebody that somebody can confide in. I am someone that somebody can depend on. I am someone that will show up for somebody and show up for their children and show up for community and feed and pour into and nurture. If that's not who you are, you're not going to get that. You may be able to manipulate that out of someone, but that's not going to last forever. And it's not going to be genuine. And you're not going to have any good karma from that. You're definitely going to pay a price for that. It's going to cost you. So work on being the change that you want to see. Work on being the individual in the community that you would like to see partner with you, so that you can attract that, because you're going to continuously repel it. If you're not that person that is going to hold their word, and even if you don't hold, if you can't do it, you're going to be the person to call and say, hey, I know I told you I can do this. I called you as soon as I find out I won't be able to do that. You're going to have to find another arrangement. I might be upset you couldn't do it, but I'm going to respect you because you told me you couldn't do it. If I say, hey, Born, I need to borrow $200. I'm going to pay you back when I get paid Friday. When Friday comes, you shouldn't have to call me for that. I should be calling you saying, hey, how do you want me to send your money back? Integrity. Like it should just innately come from you to do something in the same level that somebody did that for you. And it's not going to always be the same.
Yeah. That Friday don't never come.
That Friday never comes. But if you gave me $200 and I paid you back to $200 on that Friday, as long as I don't abuse it, I might be able to come back to you for that again, because I've showed you that I'm gonna honor my word. If you come to me and say, hey, I need you to do 10 episodes with me, and I do 2, and I disappear, guess what? You're not gonna want me back on your show again.
In that case, I'm gonna be clapping for the 2. Okay, I knew 10 was a stretch when I brought it up here, but we got 2. Like, we got 2. Look at God, won't she do it?
Okay. That would be very inconsiderate of me, when you could have found somebody else and gave them the opportunity for 8. That's another thing we got to be mindful of too, is that when we take when we don't need, and when we use, and when we weave ourselves into other people's things, we are taking opportunities away from people that need it more than us. Sometimes we're not showing up enough for ourselves, because we have access to other things that can make it easier for us. Easy is not always the best. Like, sometimes we got to be like, you know what, that person needs this way more than me. Let me let them have that. I don't have to take everything. I don't got to just, because it's there, it's free, or I can get it. I'm going to take that when you know that somebody else might need that. Let that person have that. Don't take opportunities and then just sit on them. Don't take things for granted when somebody really might need that resource, that help, that money. If you're not showing up for yourself, don't go to somebody else to show up for you. If you know that there's, say, a food pantry, and you go there, you got 3 jobs. But the situation in society right now. Food is expensive. Why would you take if you know that you have? Now, if you need it, by all means, go get that help. But don't take advantage of it. And that's for everyone, and that can look like many different things. It can look like a lot of different things. And everybody's circumstances are different. That person with three jobs may still need it because they may have 9 kids. So, it's going to look different. But if there's more you can do for yourself before you take for somebody else, make sure you're showing up fully for yourself. Be part of the community that you're asking for.
So how do you name the support that you're talking about? Like, how do you make it clear? How do you articulate it to folks and all that? You understand what I'm saying? So for people who, they went from that transition that you were speaking about earlier, they like, I just do it myself type of situation, and they looking to bridge that gap in between because they're exhaustion, burnout, or whatever the case may be, and they want some help. How do they go about that process of naming it without shaming it? You understand? Shaming themselves or whatever the case may be.
I would say, okay, it's not going to be easy to push back when you've already been placed in the role of the go-to person because you're just so used to doing it. You're going to have to start putting pockets of space in between the community that's draining and opening that space wider and allowing in the community that builds, the community that restores you. Because if my cousin's an alcoholic and I pretty much take care of her children, how is that going to make me feel when I got to start to push back from them kids so that she can be responsible? Because when I'm not responsible, she shows up for them children. But there's going to be a gap in that because it's going to take me to consistently do it. But I have to watch these children suffer while I do that. Am I willing to do that? Is it in the children's best interest? We don't know what that's going to look like, but you're being torn down. You have other things that are going on in your life, and you're taken away from your own children because you're focused over here because this person won't step up. But when you do step out, they will show up. It's going to be widening that space. It's going to be making sure that when you leave a situation, you still got something left. Like you still feel like there's some of you left. Not, I just left everything here on this person's doorstep. You want to be in spaces that restore, that make you feel more like yourself, not less. And where your body feels looser, not you leave and you're just tense and you're just so overwhelmed you can't sleep. Your mind is racing. Your spirit doesn't even feel like it's present at this moment. When you feel that, that's a red flag. Pay attention. Evaluate that. Look at that. Process through that. Filter through that so that you can really say, okay, what is it about this situation that has me feeling like this? I shouldn't feel like this from an interaction. And then what do I need to do to not feel this? What can make this change? Well, if I didn't pick her kids up, yes, she's going to pick them up. And she might be a little lit, but she's going to pick them up. And then if I don't make them dinner, she'll make dinner. And then again, you just keep widening that gap until they fill it in for themselves, because we do a lot of enabling in our community. We enable a lot of bad choices, behaviors, and decisions based upon what we're willing to take on as help. We got to start saying no and making people responsible for their responsibilities. And when I say what drains you, I mean those spaces where you feel like you have to perform, where you're always on guard, or you walk away feeling smaller or just emotionally hungover. We have to stop doing that, and we have to start going towards restorative spaces where you can tell the truth and it doesn't get turned into a joke, where your no doesn't feel like a 5-paragraph essay where you got to explain why. No, I do everything. How dare you ask me why? I don't owe you an explanation for why I don't want to show up for you right now when you have full capability to show up for yourself. Where the energy flows both ways, that's restorative. Where you give and you receive. And again, it may not be tangible and it may not be the same thing, but we're just in alignment. And your body isn't bracing for what's about to happen. Like, I got to go through this door. I'm sitting in the car for 10 minutes just waiting to go through this door because I just got to prepare mentally, and you got to take a deep breath. And even when you get around certain people and your anxiety just goes up, that person just throws your spirit off. You might want to reevaluate that interaction because you're not in alignment. A person that is in alignment with you is not going to make you feel that way. And I'm not saying you're not going to have ebbs and flows with people. I'm talking about consistently, blatantly. If you think of that person's name, your blood pressure goes up because you know it's going to be something with them. It's always negative. It's never positive. There's never a brighter side, and there's always an excuse why it's not. That's not the community that you want to have in your life. That's not restorative. And if we're going to talk about healing, and if we're going to talk about community, it needs to be spaces where when other people enter it, they can feel that. And what they feel is inviting, it's comforting, it's warm, and it feels good. Not you walk in and you're like, oh, this don't feel right. What did I just walk into? Nobody can learn. You're not going to get anything from that situation because you're going to go straight into survival mode, and you won't be able to receive any gems that comes from that environment.
So I got a song for you to listen to, okay? Got a song for you to listen to. And when we come back, I know you got some final remarks, something fly, because you always got something fly to end off the show as we end episode 4 and talk about episode 5. I almost said season. Look, I almost said season 5. You understand what I'm saying? I almost said season 5, but episode 5. So I'm going to play the song real quick. And I would love to get your thoughts on this song, okay? If you like it, send it to somebody you love, okay? So we're going to play this real quick, and we'll be right back with the final remarks and talking about episode/season 5 with Miss Chanel, okay? Self with Self podcast, all right?
First thing you do when I walk through the door, hands all over me. Now all my clothes are all over the floor. You can't get a hold of me. I thought we were done, now you're wanting more. It's not what you hoped to be. This ain't the love I've been asking you for. It's your fantasy. Hey, ego, don't fail me. But this lesson is scary. If I close my eyes and I count to 3, every lie that he speaks would be filled with deceit. I just met my ego, she been knocking at my door. Said what for? Got a message I don't think you should ignore. Oh, I'm gonna kill my ego, then relax. Sit back, arch my back, then I'll give him some so he can relax. Didn't wanna do it to you. You got a whole lot to learn. I ain't finished with you. Here's a fact. Lose your grasp, cause you know he's a trap. Even if I listen to you, you would lose your control and your inhibition. Take off your mask, then perhaps you could get back on track. I just met my ego. She been knocking at my door. Said what for? Got a message I don't think you should ignore. Oh, I'm gonna kill my ego, then relapse. Sit back, arch my back, then I'll give him some so he can relax. Hey, ego, don't fail me. is scary. If I close my eyes and I count to 3, will the same test be revealed to me? But when I equal, mind acts the words to speak, and it's why the same lesson stays stuck on repeat. It's like, hey ego, don't fail me. But this lesson is scary. If I close my eyes and I count to 3, every word that he speaks would be filled with deceit. I just met my ego, she been knocking at my door. Said what for? Got a message I don't think you should ignore. Or I'm gonna kill my ego, then relapse. Sit back, arch my back, then I'll give him some so he can relax. If my ego wants to ruin my dreams, I'll get clean. This man's a drug and now I'm known as his fiend. This illusion that he changes for me is a scheme. She was right and now I'm back on my knees. I just met my ego, she been knocking at my door. Said what for? Got a message I don't think you should ignore. Or I'm gonna kill my ego, then relapse. Sit back, arch my back, then I'll give him some so he can relax.
Thoughts?
Well, I will say that there's a lot of projection with dealing with the ego, because every situation that she speaks of, she has control of. She has the power of choice. And she's recognizing how her ego is showing up. And she's recognizing the behaviors that she's allowing the ego to be an excuse for. But it's up to her to take the action to change what she no longer wants. So she's actually in a stage of learning herself, evaluating herself. The fact that she can acknowledge where her ego is showing up is a great start. Because again, this is not an overnight process. This is going to be a situation where you're going to have to do some soul searching and some deep digging and a lot of changing within yourself. But, you know, dealing with our egos are not our amigos. So again, that's going more into your emotion than your intelligence. And when the smoke clears, you're going to wish you made the intelligent decision, not the emotional one. But it sounds like a lot of what she's looking for within herself, she's looking for externally. And she needs to look for that within. Again, I will always say that joy is internal. Happiness is what happens to you. That's external. But it's nobody's responsibility to give that to you. It's our own responsibility to find our own joy. It's our own responsibility to make ourselves happy. We shouldn't be looking for someone to do that. We should be looking for someone to accentuate what we already have. But you're giving away so much power by looking for someone to give that to you, because you can be controlled and manipulated within that.
That's why she is the guru, okay? She is the guru, okay? That's why she is the guru. So, final remarks, episode 5, season 5. What can folks expect, on the next episode of Self Meet Self Podcast?
Well, first, I would say again, remember that we were never meant to carry all of this alone. We have to go back to partnerships. We have to go back to friendships. We have to go back to family. We have to go back. I mean, I remember we called each other gods and earths, brother and sister, nephew, niece. These are things when we called everybody auntie. Our parents' friends were aunties and uncles. We have to get back to that unification, just the wording alone, kings and queens, which I don't like, but still, it's better than niggas and bitches. So, we have to get back to looking at each other as a family, one united family in this place. And healing is not an individual project, it is a community experience. It is something that we need to get back to. Yes, it needs to be safer. I'm not saying that we can just snap our fingers and get right back to it. There's a lot of things in place that need to be corrected. But again, it has to start with us first and then what we bring together. And you deserve relationships where you don't have to be the strong one all the time. You deserve relationships where, people just check in, where people don't want anything. They really just want to know if you're okay. It makes them feel good that you're okay. You deserve those types of relationships where it's not constantly drawing from you. And I will say, sit down and really write out who you have in your circle. Draw some circles. Draw yourself in the middle, put me in the middle, and then make some lines and extend out who fills those circles around you and what they do. And you might feel less alone for that one person that feels like I do everything myself. You will start to see little spaces where you know what that person does. It may be just there, but I can go to them for that. I can trust them with that. I can lean on them for that. I can talk to this person about this. I might not be able to talk to this person about that, but if I really needed something, I know I can call on them. To feel alone is very empty. You do want to feel like you have something or someone to grasp onto. And again, I'm a big proponent of therapy with the correct therapist, one that actually connects with you. Groups are amazing. It's an amazing community space. It's an amazing way for you to find people that are going through life experiences. And you can go there and sit and say nothing, and you might hear something you can relate to. And you don't even have to respond to it. Sometimes they're on Zoom. You don't have to have your camera on, your microphone. You can just be present. Those are spaces that are safe spaces for you to be able to go and engage until you feel like actually interacting. And just, look at when you make your circles, where in my life do I feel like I got to be strong the most? Who I got to show up for the most? And what does my body feel like after I leave this person or I leave this space? Or if I could build my ideal support circle, what would it feel like? What do you want? Write out what you want. Look at your map that you created with your circles and your lines and see where I need to plug and play, who I need to remove, who I need to add, what attributes do I think will complement who I am today, because we do change as people. And who you may have needed 5 years ago is totally different than who you need now. And sometimes we do outgrow our circles. It is a thing where we evolve in different ways. And it's not that anyone is right or wrong. We're just not in alignment at this moment. We might come back, we might not. And that's okay. Just respect that process while that person is within your journey.
So episode 5. So I got the Birdman hand rub, episode 5.
Episode 5, we will start going into relationships.
Oh,
And it's not just intimate. It will be the mother-daughter, the mother-son, the parent, the adult mother and daughter, the adult father and son, and vice versa. It will be the siblings, the sisters, the aunts, just interconnecting those different relationships and how to heal those spaces. It will be, how to create dialogue and spaces where you never had one. And sometimes it may be going no contact. It's going to be what you need to do to preserve your mental health, your well-being, your spiritual self, to be able to show up for yourself, to feel safe, to no longer feel invisible, unseen, and unheard. So we will start a series of episodes based upon interactions inside of relationships.
relationships. Okay. Relationships. So it's about to get hot. Okay. Perfect time. Every season. You understand? So we're going out of the dream world into the hot zone. Okay. not to be in the hot zone for the next couple of weeks over here. So it's going to get a little hot and spicy. So make sure you got your deodorant, all right? Make sure you got your deodorant, right? Yes. Where can people find you and connect with you? Because they love you over here, okay? They're like, I wish you just be quiet and let her talk. I'll be like, yes, yeah. I'm just talk. So.
I will say to everyone listening, take care of yourself, take care of your people, and remember, strength is allowed to be soft, honest, wise, and supported.
Peace out.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? You were having the time of your life, but think twice. That's my only advice. Come on now, who do you think you are? Bless your soul. You really think you're in control? I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. You're just like is thinking I wanna be like them. Ever since I was little, it looked like fun. And it's no coincidence